Namaste and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Before I get started, I'll tell all of you to like, share, and subscribe and become a member. This is going to be a very exciting show, full of information and full of inspiration for trying something new or doing something new. I will also take you to the personal journey of our guest, that how he came here and from where he started. So hold on to your seats, do like, share, subscribe, and let us welcome our guest, Sri Deven Patel, CEO of Giostar. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Aditya-ji. This is a great show. I've been following your podcast, and you put very important, very informative, but at the same time, research-backed information. And that's what I appreciate, because that gives you a strong background and the evidences that what you are talking and what your guests are talking is something not fluff, rather very significant topics that you always bring on. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you very much. And you have been supporting our journey from the very beginning. So it adds a lot. So first of all, to the viewers, I'll say, who is Mr. Deven Patel? And I know him personally, so I can say a lot of things, but I'm going to say first the official thing and then I'll say the unofficial thing, so then you can know. So he's the CEO, president, co-founder of Giostar, and Geo actually is an acronym for another term, which is STEM research, and I'll let him speak on that, how he came up with the word Giostar. So it is not an air conditioning company, it's a STEM research firm. So he is the president and co-founder of Giostar. It's a leading stem cell research institute based in San Diego, my city, in California. The authority in the field of stem cell science, gene therapy, and cancer research. And he's living young. He's looking younger than what he was yesterday. So there is the secret to that. Okay, anyway, we'll touch all those points. So what does Giostar stand for? Can you please clarify?
Thank you, Aditya-ji, and thank you for trying, and I appreciate it, because it's a very long name. It's called Global Institute of Stem Cell Therapy and Research, and the first letter of each word makes it Giostar, Global Institute of Stem Cell Therapy and Research. We're based in San Diego, California. We're in the field of stem cell research, gene therapy, and cancer research for almost now 24 plus years.
I saw your journey of many years. I was researching what you did, and I saw you opened a new center in Ahmedabad for research, and you are doing earlier you were doing some other on the cancer research. You've done something. So how did this idea of Giostar? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to this field for 24 years. You're continuing.
It is I would call it a very serendipitous journey. It is more of a spiritual journey, and it sounds a little, kind of, okay, what science has to do with spirituality? But I've been blessed with the spiritual giants, my father and my grandfather, who are leading lawyers and lawmakers, legislators, but at the same time, they're spiritual giants. So I have been blessed with the tremendous rich inheritance of these spiritual powers. And since I was born, it is always feeling of do something that makes people around me better in every way. And that, it is somebody's pain is there, even in their voice, in their words, on their face. I get very teary eyes, and whole bowl of emotions comes out and say, God, help this person. And this has been happening since I was a child. And I didn't pay much attention to it, but that's what happens. And I said, God, help this person. And at the end of the story, but that deep, authentic feeling in my heart, I think eventually led me to heal the humanity with this science. And this is the most advanced science of mankind. But the best part is, it is getting rid of your disease from root cause without surgery, without downtime, almost no side effect. That's the beauty of it.
So how did you? I know your background, and I was in Gujarat this time in India, and I had a great experience at Narsi Mehta temple.
Oh, beautiful.
I I spent not a long, maybe an hour, and spirituality is science also, according to me, and I could experience the vibrations around that place, and my mantra was really perfect. I'm very, I don't hide my things, what I do, and people know about it. People know, who are with me for a very long time, they know. And I really was inspired in that place. And you come from similar region, right? Ahmedabad is not far from there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's good job.
So,
Yeah.
so how did you come to like choosing stem cell as a medium of helping people?
Uh, what happened? It is very interesting, Tori. Everybody or majority of the people must have heard about Autobiography Yogi, the most gifted book in the world, written by Yoganand Paramhansa. And actually, Yoganand's ashram is in San Diego, California, and he has a majestic home, and his desk and his room where he wrote this book, that is in San Diego. Okay. So when I moved from Chicago to San Diego 25 years, 24 years ago, I was traveling along, and it's right on the ocean, on the cliff, and I was traveling around that area, just I would say directionless, or I would looking for a direction to do something that is more meaningful. And I'm not saying I want to change the world, and I save the lives, nothing like that. Okay, it's just I was trying to look meaning for my life, that something that I wanted to do, or instead of even something I wanted to, rather I was asking for a guidance, that please lead me to something that is satisfying in every way possible. And I was going around that area back and forth for almost an entire year. And there's a whole long story. But in the Autobiography of Yogi, Yogananda's guru is Yukteswarji, Yukteswar's guru is Lahari Mash, and Lahari Mash's guru is Mahavatar Babaji. And I'm nothing but an absolute product of Babaji's blessing happening in my life at every moment of my life, miracles happening in my life at every moment of my life. And that connection, details we can talk about later, led me to this science, and that led me to my partner, Dr. Anand Srivastava, who is one of the top researcher in the field of stem cell research, gene therapy, and cancer research. And that's how we met in our Indian temple in San Diego, and conversation happened there. And this is the journey after 25 years. This is where we are.
So what did you like, just to a little bit dig into like this journey? So what inspired you with Yoganand? Like what exactly which triggered you, and you chose this path? I know you told me you met Anand Srivastava, but you must have something within you to pick
It
this
is,
up.
it is deep within that feeling of healing people, or getting that whole bowl of emotions, or that is coming out of me, going to the people to heal them. And I said, God help them, God heal them, God guide them. That feeling from the childhood, I think somehow was leading this journey to this healing modality, which is the most advanced modality, most advanced medical science, but at the same time, it's most natural, most Ayurvedic, more Ayurveda than Ayurvedic, because you are using stem cells. Stem cell is the master cell of the body, which has a blueprint of your entire body, and this cell creates your entire body, your lung, your kidney, your liver, your skin, your blood, anything. So why can we use the power of that to repair and regenerate anything that is damaged and degenerate in your body using this stem cell? Because stem cell is a master cell of the body. That's why anything that degenerates or damaged, stem cell job is to repair and regenerate. That's why we call it a regenerative medicine. So I think it is that whole journey leading to, for me to look for something that is going to really help people live a healthy life. And when you have a healthy body, you can be much more, how do I say, you live life in much more deeper way than you're suffering from conditions. And I know the expression of the physical disease is a last stage of a disease. It starts way above, okay? And when it comes to physicality, that's the last stage of the expression of that disease. But if I can fix that part, if I can somehow, then that will allow that person to lead its eventual journey of spirituality, of eventual journey of going beyond this physical body. If that makes sense somehow.
I have to go get deeper into these points. The most famous inventors in the world are spiritualists. Most famous inventors. Steve Jobs is one of the classical examples.
Yeah.
And they have got inspiration from Indian Vedic spiritual systems, and then created amazing products in the world. And I was reading about Steve Jobs, that how he used the principle of eternality to create simple products. He said simplicity sells. That's what he said, and that's how the product line of Apple was small and simple to use. We both are using Apple and talking about Steve Jobs. Like one famous spiritualist told me, Apple is vegetarian and Windows is non-vegetarian.
Another interesting fact is when Steve Jobs died, he made sure in his funeral everybody receives autobiography of Yogi. And it is kind of, I heard, unwritten rule in Apple. If you work for it, you kind of want to read autobiography of Yogi. And originally he went to India to see Neem Karoli Baba at Kanchidham. Of course, Neem Karoli Baba moved on, passed on from that point when he reached there. And then he also told Mark Zuckerberg, to also go to the same place. So at the end of the day, it is such a ripe, fertile land called India, where every century there are 5-10 most advanced beings, or most elevated being, or most enlightened being comes down that we know. Okay, 5 to 10 only we came to know at every century, which is very unusual. It doesn't happen in other parts of the world, but this land is so fertile for this most advanced spiritual science that elevates you, expands you, and this is the land we're both from. And somehow, maybe that is something that has led me to be at the helm of the most advanced science of mankind, which is a stem cell science today. And we're not going further than this. We have reached to the root, where the cell is the root. Cell is the beginning of the life. And in Hindi mein kehte hain, beej mein vruksh, vruksh mein beej. So this is what it is. And now from here on, we're just going to get better and better and better to getting rid of your diseases using your own cell, which is God has put in there. I'm in the field of science, but I'm using word God, and I'm not ashamed of it. That God has, the universe has, whatever you want to call it, has put that source, the life source, in that cell that creates the life around us and creates us, our entire body. And we're using that power to repair and regenerate anything that is damaged or degenerated.
Amazing. So for a layman, like just an ordinary man on the street and people like me, so how do you define a stem cell?
Well, what's simple? It's very simple. Okay, when you cut a finger, right? What happens? You bleed. So message goes to your brain, I'm hurt. And in your blood, the stem cells are there. They come and they repair and you get healed. So what happens when you have I'll simplify it and go very fast. When you have a male sperm and female egg, and when it's meet, you have a fertilized egg that reaches to the blastocyst stage in a couple of weeks. And there, inside there are several cells. And from there, the entire body is created. Okay. So that is that master cell that can create the entire body. And think of it as like when we build a building, right? When we build a building, we have a lot of supply. So stem cell is same thing. It's a building blocks of our body. So our body matures by age of 2022. All the organs fully matured by age 2022. So when we're building the building, you need a lot of supply. You need the bricks and you need the mortar and then you need wood and all that. And as you complete the building, the supplies goes down. And when building is totally complete, you don't need any supply. Same thing with our body. When our body is fully developed by age 2022, all the organs are fully matured, then you don't need a building block. In our case of body, it is a stem cell. Then you have a repair crew that's in your body going around, and anything that breaks or damage, it fixes it. But think of it, if you break the entire wall of the house, then you cannot go to your storage in your house where you can get few small things and fix that wall. For that, you have to go to Home Depot and get the material. Same thing with our body. If our heart is not working, our liver is not working, our kidney is not working, our brain is not working, it's the same as a wall of the house falling down. So then you need an outer supply, because the regeneration process when you're young is very fast, because you have a lot of supply of the stem cell coming because your body is being built. But when it's complete at 20, then 30, there's a regeneration process slow down, 40, then 50 and 60. And that's how we age, because the number of stem cell exponentially goes down. And therefore, even we age, because Dr. Anand Srivastava published a very interesting scientific research from UCLA. And in a way, in that, he shows that our bodies are not even designed to age. Once our bodies fully matured by age 2022, all those cells remains at that level and that stage. It is external condition, the alcohol, the pollution, the meat and lifestyle and stress that make that cell goes down. Otherwise, we're not even designed to age. Like our yogis used to live for 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, more 5,000 years. How they used to do that in a perfect body? Because when you oxygenate every single cell of your body 100% of the time, there is no decay. And our yogis have mastered that science, not a spirituality. That is a science of breath, that pranayama, such that it is not 99% or 101%. It's a fully 100% times oxygenation of your every cell.
Amazing explanation. So what happens if the father and the mother have some genetic disorder? Then what happens to those stem cells in the child?
So there are certain conditions that passed on to a child, like thalassemia, sickle cell anemia. That's why even in India, we're working with the Indian governments and helping them finding solutions for sickle cell anemia with stem cell and gene therapy. And one of the initiatives government is doing is to even help them find spouses that are not carrying that gene, so that it doesn't get transferred into the next generation. But now we're working, there's a stem cell treatment that you can do for blood cancer, let's call it lymphoma, leukemia, thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, and those blood-related disease, we can basically, for example, sickle cell anemia, right? What happens in sickle cell anemia? Your cells, the red blood cells, are round. It becomes a sickle shape. That's why you call it a sickle cell. It's a sickle shape. So when it gets sickle shape, it's get tangled into each other. Okay, then you have a clots, and then you have a restriction of the blood flow. So you have a tremendous pain, discomfort, dysfunction of that particular organ, and many things. So what we do, we extract, or we find in that particular condition, we find their siblings or match who have a normal cells, and then we inject or transfuse those cells into the new person's body, remove their damaged cells. We basically eradicate their immune system. So immune system is considered a factory that makes all those cells, and then replace with the new perfect cells. And then factories start using those cells to make new cells. So now it is a fully round shape, proper, undamaged cells, and you get rid of the disease. But even now we're working further, to make it even, because that treatment is called bone marrow transplant. It's very complex. It's well-established clinical practice for the last 40 years. It's being used all around the world. But we're taking it to the one step further into the gene therapy, where we would take that damaged cell and do the gene therapy on that in the lab, and then we put it back infuse back into your body. So there's no downtime, there's no risk or nothing. And then your factory, which is your immune system, start creating the normal cells.
So one very well said, and also I'm also learning with you because I spoke to you many times, but I never got a chance to learn from you, which is I'm learning now. In when we talk about the STEM research, and there is a lot of doubts in people's brains because a lot of programming has been done that only the pharmaceutical complex medicines are the cure, and a lot of pills are being suggested. So I know you know where I'm going to now. So and you're the latest cure which you have just announced yesterday, and which just highlighted the issue, because I reversed my diabetes using Ayurveda, and I was diabetes 2, and now I have no diabetes. My sugar level is normal, and the American doctors gave me a lot of pills, a box of pills, and metformin was killing me.
Yeah,
Every time I took metformin, it
of
helped
course.
me. I'm not against any pharmaceutical thing. You can sell your poison anywhere you want, but I'm not taking it. So it really affected me. And so when I saw your article published, and I saw, wow, this is a thing which I need to learn now. So you are a very successful record on the cancer side. So what are the oppositions you faced before, and what was your journey fighting with the system?
So before we go to there, and I understand this is a very important question, and I'm glad you asked that question. Before that, I'll tell you that we are in November 2024, and Giostar received the FDA approval to start its clinical trial phase 2 for developing stem cell treatment, our proprietary stem cell treatment for diabetes type 2. So it's a major breakthrough, and it's a major leap forward in revolutionizing diabetes treatment. And it's a tremendous restless efforts of our team for so many years. And we are now demonstrating our commitment for pioneering the regenerative medicine and showing the world our innovative approach that harnesses the potential of stem cell to transform the lives of millions of people affected. Not millions. I heard the latest estimate is that almost 1 billion people around the world are affected by diabetes type 2. Now, before I go to your question, answering your question, let's talk about diabetes, because you brought that. Then you said, I don't want to take the pills or a pharmaceutical drug. So again, pharmaceutical drug, I won't even call it a bad, okay? But I'll put it in a much more comprehensive way to people to understand. So modern medicine or allopathy or a drug, whatever you want to call it, and metformin is one of the drug for the diabetes patients. So if you want to drive your car and you want to jump start, you have to put it in the first gear, okay? You cannot go into the fourth gear straight. So that first gear, that jump start, is a modern medicine, is the allopathy. You need that. Something stops in your body, something's not working, your sugar is out of control. You need that kind of a jump start, gear 1. Now, if you want to go longer, I want to go further, then you have to slowly change the gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, so you can go further and longer. But if you keep your car in the gear 1 all the time and try to go longer, what happens? Your engine breaks down. So modern medicine, allopathy, is a gear 1. It gives you a jump start. But when you want to go further, then you have to change to gear 2, which is the lifestyle changes. Gear 3, the dietary habits. Gear 4 is a meditation, breathing exercise. That's what it is. And at the end of the day, it's a stem cell is a gear 4 that keeps you going in a perfect body as long as you live. So what happens in a diabetes type 2? Aditya ji, shall I explain a little bit of pathophysiology of diabetes and what happens in your body?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Would it be helpful to the viewers?
Yes, yes, please.
So what happens when somebody say I have a diabetes type 2? That is the adult form of a diabetes, and it is called insulin resistance. So what happens? You have a pancreas in your body, and its job is to produce the insulin, and insulin's job is to pick up the sugar from the blood and deliver it to the cell So the cell can digest that sugar in its mitochondria, which is the powerhouse, and create the energy for the body. So that's the process. So as you eat something, you drink something, and the sugar level goes up, then the signal goes to your pancreas saying, hey, I need insulin because my sugar level has increasing than normal. So the insulin is being secreted through pancreas. So pancreas is your factory, considered like a truck factory who's building the trucks. And the insulins are trucks who picks up the sugar from your blood and deliver it to your cells. Is that clear? Aditya?
Yes.
And now what happens? Your sugar level goes up. Insulin is picking up the sugar from your blood and delivering it to the cells. But in a diabetes type 2 condition, your cell receptors, the doors around the cells which are supposed to receive the sugar, are blocked with the free radicals or a gunk or a garbage. So insulin is delivering the sugar, but it's not receiving it, right? So what happens? That means your sugar level goes higher and higher. When your sugar level, because sugar is not being digested, sugar is not being delivered, so the sugar level goes higher and higher. So then message goes to pancreas, your factory, saying, make more insulin, because I need more trucks to pick up the sugar because sugar quantity is a lot. So your pancreas goes into the hyper mode for 5 year, 10 year, right? And your cell is not receiving it. And that's the war that's going on in your body. So when we come with the stem cell treatment, what we do, first we come and fix the cell's receptors and open up the cell receptors, clean up the cell receptors. So when insulin delivers the sugar, cell can receive that sugar and digest the sugar and create the energy for you. So when that happens, sugar delivery start happening, your body start functioning because body is using the sugar to create the energy. And that's how the body function. And slowly sugar level goes down. But what happens for last 10, 15 years, your insulin, your factory is in hyper mode, making so much trucks or insulins, that is also damaged. So then we come and start repairing your factory, which makes the insulin, that is your pancreas. And then once you fix the pancreas and the sugar delivery start happening, and slowly, let's say somebody's HbA1c is 9 and slowly it's come down to 8 and then 7 and then 6, and you're below 6 and you're a normal person. And after that, you manage your body with your exercise, diet, meditation, all that, then you're a normal person. So that's the beauty of stem cell treatment. It's natural, there's no poison in your body, and its job is to repair by nature anything that is damaged and degenerate. And this is how we fix diabetes type 2. And this is this treatment that we are developing for diabetes type 2 using our proprietary stem cell treatment. So that's the basics of diabetes. And I can get back to your original question if you allow me to.
Please.
So when we started publishing this findings in year 2001, 2002, 2003, okay, I'm taking you back another almost 24 years back. We are in 2024. I'm taking you to year 2001. At that time, when we started publishing these findings of stem cell research, where we were trying to show that, yes, these technology or these sciences can basically get rid of your disease from the root cause, that made pharmaceuticals very uncomfortable. Like, who's going to buy our pills if we're going to get rid of the diseases, right? So they put a lot of misinformation in the media and Washington and lobbying and divided the country in half and created a religious issue instead of scientific issue. And then country divided into Democrats and Republicans, and Republicans is conservative party, and they created into a religious issue, and they said you're a baby killers. And so the federal grant money you cannot use for stem cell research. That's what created at that time. But you can use the state grant or a private funding. There is no problem. You can do stem cell research. So at that time, very interesting thing happened. At 2004 was Bush Jr. He was the president, and President Reagan died because of Alzheimer's. So Nancy Reagan wanted to find out that the science that Bush was blocking would have helped Reagan in Alzheimer's or not. At that time, only authority in the country was Dr. Anand Srivastava, my partner. in Giostar, the most prominent stem cell researchers and gene therapy expert, one of the top scientists of America. And he was interviewed on the TV, and then Nancy Reagan was interviewed on the TV, and that's how the debate started in state of California about stem cell research. And at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to become a governor of California. He was also a Republican. He ran on the issue of stem cell. Prop 71 was approved, and $3 billion were funded, and the world's largest stem cell research department was created in state of California with $3 billion funding. So that changed the whole scenario. And then after that, when that funding started trickling to the university in 2006, 7, 8, that's where everybody started jumping into the stem cell research. So we struggled, we fought, and somehow we survived and got lucky. And today I'm sitting here and can tell you with so much confidence that we're the people who pioneered this entire modern field of stem cell science at the top University of Southern California, University of California, San Diego, Salk Institute, Burnham Institute, University of Irvine, UCLA, all over the places. And then that led into starting our own institute, because what was happening, there was so much money coming to these universities, but nobody was interested in converting that research into the clinical practice, because their money is coming, there's no accountability, everybody's doing their research, they published their research paper, and nothing was happening. And I was very frustrated. I said, we're going to start our own private research institute where we can expedite this process from bench to bedside, means from lab to the treatment, and reduce that time frame. And that's so Giostar was born out of the frustration that no research wasn't converted into clinical practice. And then we went out there, we invested so much of our money, millions and millions and millions of dollars for this. And during that time, Modi ji was looking, Prime Minister Modi, current Prime Minister Modi of India, who was the chief minister at that time in 2008, looking for a solution for certain diseases for people in Gujarat, state of Gujarat in India. And their search ended with us, and they invited us, and we, with Modi ji, we started the world's first dedicated stem cell treatment hospital in India, world's first dedicated stem cell treatment, multi-specialty tertiary care stem cell treatment hospital in India, not in America, okay? And that kind of accelerated our processes. And to today in 2024, fast forward, I tell you that we're sitting here and developing stem cell treatment for diabetes type 2. But I also want you to tell you, we're the hardcore research organization, which is a maximum clinical practice or clinical experience in the world. Means we have treated maximum patient with stem cell with all kind of different conditions around the world for last 15, 20 years, because different jurisdiction in a different world, in different countries, allows me to do different type of and different level of stem cell treatment. So we have our facilities in US, Mexico, Costa Rica, India, China, and many other countries that is coming up. And we have treated thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of patients with all kind of different diseases, starting from heart conditions, liver conditions, kidney conditions, arthritis, autoimmune disease, diabetes, scleroderma, Crohn's disease, spinal cord injury, so many kind of diseases. And we've been able to help so many people. And I'm not saying everybody got rid of their disease from get-going. It is always depend on patient condition, stage of disease, kind of disease, and how they respond to the treatment. Because stem cell is not a pill, it's not a chemical, it's a unit of life. So how you think affects the outcome of the stem cell treatment. So our biggest portion of our treatment is the counseling to help patient understand how it works and bringing them to the receiving mode. So when they receive those cells, that it gives you the maximum outcome. So I know I gave you a very long answer, but I hope that gives a lot of insight into this field.
No, I think you gave, that's all the detail we are looking for. Actually, because if people have to make informed decisions, that's what they need to go to. Now, my one funny question is, that's why I said funny question, is how much grant you received when $3 billion was passed by the California?
At that time, those grants were being received at the university level, not on the private sector yet. So what happened? That $3 billion investment has now, or of state of California, has converted into the $5 more billion, I think, few years ago. So funding is there, and there's I would say billions of dollars of private sector investment into stem cell research for last 20 years. So now it is not a taboo. It is not a problem. It is now what pharmaceutical has created this. They said the cell is a drug. Okay, and that is my fight with the this notion of calling my own cell a drug. It is my cell. I can do whatever I want to do. I don't need FDA approval or anything. Okay. So for example, when you have blood transfusion, you take somebody else's blood and it comes to your body. What do you have in that blood? Is all kind of cells. And that does not require any regulation. It's not a drug. But when I use my own cells to treat myself, they call it a drug. So it is more of a political thing, economic thing, pharma thing, where they wanted to do the control or the barrier to the entry. And they're saying, if you do the clinical trial and spend basically $500 million and prove it works, then you can market it and you can sell it and you can commercialize it. I said, okay, fine. So what we have done, we've gone out of the United States, created a lot of data, treated a lot of patients, and now we're doing our clinical trial. So even before I start my clinical trial, I already know where I'm going to end because I already have my data on my private studies. So I know where I'm going to end, but they're going to make me spend money. So be it. But the whole goal is that this will change the whole landscape of treatment of diabetes, and diabetes patients will have something more natural, more holistic, and something that is going to get rid of their disease from the root cause. And diabetes, nobody die because of a diabetes. They die because of the heart side effects of diabetes. Because of diabetes, your kidneys are damaged, your heart is damaged, your liver is damaged, your eyesight is damaged. So this treatment not only get rid of your disease from the root cause, but it also repairs all the different damages that is being happening to your other organs, so that you can live most healthier life. Does that make sense in terms of how it works?
So the US is a land of opportunity, and you have to run out of US to prove your point. And now you're bringing it back into the US. So how is the FDA now suddenly woken up to give you an approval?
So no, FDA is not against it, and it's not like I ran out of the country. All our research is being done in US, so that's no problem. Okay. So just to give an idea, first time to the world, we showed in 2004, nerve cell can be regenerated. So Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, neuromuscular disease can be treated. First time to the world, we showed autoimmune disease can be treated. So Crohn's, vasculitis, diabetes type 1 can be treated. First time to the world, we showed blood can be created from stem cells. So there are so many things. First clinical trial ever approved by US FDA to treat spinal cord injury in human using stem cell. That door was opened between 2007 and 2010 at University of California, University of California, Irvine, where Christopher Reeve Foundation. Christopher Reeve was the actor of the first Superman movie who had a spinal cord injury. So it was his foundation, and University of California, Irvine, where my partner, Dr. Anand Srivastava, worked there as a key scientist, and they developed the world's first stem cell treatment to treat spinal cord injury in human. And that door was open between 2007 and 2010. So it's against it. The process is taking longer time. So fast forward to March 2020, when COVID was officially announced in US. 1 month later, in April 2020, when whole world did not know what to do, Giostar, our organization, was the first organization in the world to get US FDA approval to treat COVID and COVID complication with our proprietary stem cell treatment. So we're always at the forefront. And then that led to the shortage of the blood, because during the COVID, nobody was donating the blood. So there was so much shortage of blood. And before even COVID, there was so much shortage of the blood. But that COVID situation made it even worse. So then we launched our blood company, where we are making blood out of stem cell. We have created O negative blood, which means it's O universal donor blood, because blood has three problems. One, if somebody needs a blood, you have to know the typing or the blood group matching. If my blood doesn't match, I cannot give it to you. I cannot take your blood. Second problem is, if there is a blood transfusion and somebody else's blood coming into your body or your loved ones, you're always worrying about what kind of disease may come through, HIV and many other pathogens. And third problem is, do we have enough blood? We don't have enough blood. We collect about 100 million unit of blood every year around the globe, where you and I donate at Red Cross. After that, collecting 100 million unit of blood, we have another 100 million unit shortage every year. And because of COVID, that shortage has reached to 291 million unit. So we have solved all three problems. We have created universal red blood cell, which is O negative, so no match required, no blood typing, no blood group match required. It can go to anybody and everybody. Secondly, it's created in a controlled environment in a bioreactor, so it's the cleanest blood, no contaminants, and unlimited resource. It's a $100 billion a year market, and I'm the only game in town. And then that led to creating capitalizing on our data on a clinical trial for diabetes. So we said, let's start something on a diabetes, because it's basically a pandemic. It's a health crisis around the world, diabetes than anything else. So we embarked on that, and fortunately, we got our US FDA approval to start our phase 2 clinical trial. So long answer to your question, but hope I'm giving you more and more information.
No, amazing information. I'm learning a lot, and also for the viewers, also it's a great learning experience. I'm sure. My one question to you is, like, the number of years that you took for getting the FDA approval is pretty high, and you have claimed that you are the leader in this area in the private sector, and most of the funding goes to the government sector, not to the private sector. So how is the research from the public getting commercialized? Is it like, are you planning to open health centers or in the US clinical trial centers where people can try this out in the US and the West?
So it's a two-part question. First of all, how this funding is coming, if it's going to the public sector to public sector, means government money grants going to the university, but there are now a lot of transfer of that money into the private sector. Also, there's a tremendous private sector investment into this stem cell research and gene therapy for the last 20 years. Don't forget that. So there are so many companies are really raising money and doing this research. So there is no problem of money. Also, it is not the speed. It sounds like it's taking a lot of years, but FDA has created a pathway, which is called a fast track pathway, where you can get your clinical trial approved in 3 years, not 5 year, 10 year, 20 years. So it is there, but you need people like us who can do the real authentic science, because there is a lot of misinformation. There is a lot of snake oil sellers in this industry, because stem cell, everybody's saying, oh, okay, it's good, and I can stick it to any doctor. Every doctor in every corner of America is a stem cell expert, and if I put them into in my lab and tell them to look into the microscope and tell me the difference between the stem cell and a debris, they won't be able to tell me that. But they all call themselves an expert. They could be a very good orthopedic doctor. They could be a very good nephrologist, cardiologist, neurologist, but they don't have expertise in the field of stem cell research. But they claim it because it's a lot of money, free money, and everybody's enjoying it. And in general, stem cell doesn't do much damage, but it can do a lot of damage if you don't know how to use it. But people like us who are a hardcore research organization, and usually research organization doesn't get into the clinical side, but now in the last 10 years, a lot of universities are getting into the clinical trials, a lot of research organizations getting into the clinical trial to convert into the clinical practice, and that's what's happening. There are so many clinical trials underway. So now we will see the proliferation of these treatments very fast in next 2 to 5 years, and it's a great outlook for the humanity, where you are now being served the treatment or a medicine or a cure that is going to get rid of your disease from a root cause without putting any poison, without any surgery, without any downtime, and without almost no side effects. So that's the future, and that future is here. As I said, I've been treating patients for last 15 plus years, thousands and thousands of patients who are living disease-free life. And on top of it, we do a lot of anti-aging treatment. And so that way we can slow down your age, hold your age where you are, and then reverse it. So my father is 83-year-old, and we do their anti-aging treatment with stem cell. And his biological age is probably he's in early 60s or late 60s. And he's very healthy, lives very healthy life, 80-year-old practicing lawyer, and go up and down his house, 3-4 story, 10-15 times a day. Then he walks in the high court for 1-2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, doesn't matter. He lives very healthy. We keep his body in a perfect shape. I do my anti-aging for last 10 years. I'll be 54-year-old very soon, but my biological markers are somebody who's in early 40s. Means all my organ functions at somebody at the who are in early 40s. Efficiency of my organs.
I would like to go back 10 years. So I would like to go back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said some risks for that, like there can be like people who do not know the science of stem cell research, there can be risks associated with that.
Anything, not just the stem cell, anything in life. If you don't know what you're doing, and you're going to damage that person, or harm that person. That's obvious.
So what are those risks?
Well, I can say you can kill people if you don't know what you're doing. We have seen that. Amateurs doing that.
Like in the case of any wrong medication, also you can kill people.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when you talk about anti-aging, that's definitely a religious issue in this country. People may know that how the religion guides people's mindsets sometimes, and can be very, very dangerous for new businesses like this, new ideas. What do you say?
Please redefine your question or further clarify your question so I can answer it better.
Anti-aging, how anti-aging is, like when you say stem cell research can do anti-aging, and that can be a very religious point. What do you have to say?
No, not at all. It's not a religious point at all. When you say religious point,
playing with the God's creation. That's what the thing is.
I'm glad you clarified that. Here, what we are trying to do, Aditya-ji, we're not tinkering with your ticket, okay? Whatever ticket, according to our scriptures, you have, you're going to live that life, whatever it is, okay? Based on your karma. I'm not indulging into that. What I'm indulging into, whatever time you have on this earth, you live in the most perfect and able body, so you can live the maximum life in that body.
Okay. One last question.
Yes.
And like, for example, we are like, I am always interested in making my life better, and I used Ayurveda, which is also still not FDA approved in many ways. And it's not, those medicines are not being sold officially by the licensed medical practitioners. They're available as a food supplement in stores, but not as a recommendation for an alternative medicine thing. Do you think such restrictions are there for stem cell research also?
Stem cell research, there are no restrictions. Stem cell research, you can do as much as you want, whatever you
treatment. Stem cell treatment.
But in order to prescribe the treatment, you have to have a clinical trial done, and that's what we are doing right now. And different country, different jurisdiction. Like even right now in America, I can do stem cell treatment, okay? But I have a restriction. There are certain exceptions under US FDA where I can use stem cell treatment for the pain management. That's okay. That's not a problem. But if I have to treat somebody's neurological condition, I cannot do that.
So when do you think this treatment will be officially available to the West or Americans, starting with Americans?
It is available. There are so many patients goes to Mexico, to some of our facilities, to Costa Rica, to India, to many other places where we those jurisdictions I can practice the higher protocols, advanced protocols. But in America, we don't do much treatment. We do just our research there, our clinical trials here. And it will
Thank
be
you.
available, I would say, in 2 years. As I said, in 2 to 5 years, there will be so many stem cell treatment available that can be prescribed by a doctor, just like a medicine.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today and educating us. And I think viewers should share. There'll be contact details of Dr. Deven Patel in the video itself. You can contact him directly. And best thing is he's in San Diego. We are all in San Diego.
Absolutely. Our contact detail is contact@giostar.com. Giostar is spelled Giostar, contact@giostar.com. And somebody will get in touch with you, and we will be able to guide you, lead you to the right direction, have you talk to the medical professionals, and then make the informed decision for yourself. I'm doing my stem cell treatment and anti-aging treatment. That's why I live disease-free life in a perfect body.
Thank you so much. And thank you all the viewers for watching it. Do like, share, and subscribe, and let me know your feedback. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aditya ji, and great show. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.